So, Dan, how would you respond to someone who is in a position where they are waiting for the one? They are waiting.
That's in air quotes, right? The one.
The one.
Yes.
The one. They are waiting for God, and they're trusting God to bring this person to them. I mean, what would your response be?
Well, probably to start off is just to say there is a variety of teaching within the Christian world about that. And I just want to say I respect folks who've taught this. I can think of authors going through my mind right now who have had vital, amazing marriages, who feel like this is the one and there was no other one. And, celebrate their experience. I just don't know that experience is universal. I think as a singles pastor, I had folks who found the one and then were in my office wanting an annulment or a divorce later on and all sorts of craziness. So we end up sometimes finding these models where it works and then going, see, this proves the point. And I think it's trying to prove it from the evidence, from the result, when there's also lots of results that are ignored, like maybe there isn't a one. And then another time we've talked about Scripture that we think marriage is not a destiny or reward, but a choice. So if couples feel like this is the one, I'm like, I don't want to talk them out of it. That's cool.
Right, sure.
That's beautiful. But I would probably say a little differently that there's lots of potential the ones in our life. Steve DeSilva, in his book, The Prosperous Soul, he's part of our team. He had a phrase in there I thought was so powerful. He said, in the river of God, there are many bests. And that just struck me. That's how much of, as a single person, we were like, I got to find the best. I got to make the best perfect choice or find the one. But in God, in the generosity, in the abundance of the Lord, there's lots of bests. I don't think that the idea of the one is a helpful idea for the most part. It feels to me a little bit like kind of the romance model of the 1700s and 1800s has kind of been mixed in with Christianity. And romance is a gift from God. It's a good thing. But saying our covenant is based on the fact that this has been God ordained is like, I don't know. In Scripture it was like, here's how marriage works. Women, you're going to respect that guy, so you better find a man you can respect. Is the implication of that, because that's going to be the expectation. And for men, it's like, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. And so men, is there somebody you're ready to be so unselfish that you would give your life, not just I'll take a bullet, I'll dive in front of the mugger as he's swinging the knife, but I will get off the couch in the football game and change the diaper because I love her. It's like somebody, I will lay down my life in the big and in the small things. And so Scripture isn't saying go away on retreat, pray, take your list before the Lord. We don't see any of those things. It's kind of like, well, marriage is about sacrificial love and respect. So are those things going on? And are you ready to do that for a lifetime? Because then you potentially have something. At some point, you and I might get to talk about not finding the one, but becoming the one is a way smarter use of our time. Right. And it's so much more powerful. And there's an old quote that is in some of the literature. I wish I could quote the author, but it's like, God pity the man who thinks he has found the perfect wife, and God pity the woman more. The idea that the expectation is so high, and the expectation that joy comes from outside is not from inside. That joy is something I get out of this relationship rather than something I bring to share in the relationship. And so I think that this idea of the one, while amazing and terrific for some, is mostly not a helpful concept for the majority of singles. And when we think about it in some ways, it's if there's a one, we get into all sorts of God destining every choice of their life, It's like, and you're like, I'm not sure if we would, maybe some Christians would be comfortable with that God's written a script and we play out the script, but that's not the way we experience Scripture or we see the call of Scripture. And so, if the one accidentally, tries some horrible drug and heads off into a spiral, am I destined to be single forever? And because the one made a poor choice early on, and they might say, well, they weren't the one. Then I'm like, it just kind of gets squirrely. So I think responsible, mature people who are ready to bring their very best as givers into the relationship, who are invested in becoming the one and staying the one. And so this idea of the one, I think, is becoming a little bit more destructive. And there's next to nothing else in the gospel that we don't have to partner with. Like, people got to get saved, but you don't have to go talk to them. Don't you worry about that. You stay at home.
Sure.
I'll send them to you. Nothing else. Healing. We take the risk. We lay hands on people. Everything else is a partnership. And yet this one place we feel like I just get to sit down and wait on my couch, and not meet people, not be out there with other folks, not take risks. And I know it's scary. And I think it's the scariness that goes, God, you just take care of this, would you? Because it's so scary.
Absolutely.
And I see so much damage. So I totally trust you. I'm going to sit here and wait. And it's like, nothing in Christianity works that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the only people who, because something was scary, they buried the talent. And the master, if remember the parable, the master's mad that they buried the talent, And,
right.
And so it's going to be a risk. It is scary. But it's something to go through with Papa, with our friends and family, with leaders as well. With lots of tools that this website's given folks, and there are ways to make it less scary and to alleviate something, but it is a risk.
Yeah,
it is a risk.